This is my clinical practice assignment number 2, shadowing school leadership. I was able to observe my elementary principal and my middle school, high school principal for about a week. I also, on one day, left offsite to visit a sister school and observe their school leadership. The times I observed were all general student times, arrival to school, breaks, nutritions, and lunches. What I observed is that supervision is such a heavy need. The younger the kids get, the more supervision they need. One of the key takeaways I took from this, because I observed it firsthand, is how important it is for administrators and especially principals to not only be visible, but active in the supervision process, because that is the time when kids can get hurt, have accidents, have misbehaviors that cause themselves or others to be harmed. So it's just a high need of quality aware staff members to be out there. And what I observed personally is that while there's a ton of people observing, not everyone's participating in active supervision. The administrators definitely were great about that. They were aware, they were alert. The principals themselves, especially the middle school, high school principal, Ms. Schlotman at my site, she addressed student behaviors the minute they came up in an appropriate manner and in a quick manner that resolved the issue. The elementary principal, Mr. Gerler, was more monitoring, just making sure that he had a clear vision of all the kids playing around. I didn't really see him address any individual students, but I could definitely see he was alert. But depending on the individual staff member, from supervision staff to teachers, not everyone was really actively supervising. Some people were talking to colleagues, talking to individual students, which I understand, but that takes your attention away from the area you're supervising. I even saw some people on their phones. Another key takeaway I had came from the board meeting that I listened in on. I just didn't realize what a formal process it is. It's so structured, so procedural. All the board members, and again, I don't know if they're elected or appointed. I'll have to find that out. But it was kind of a tense meeting. When they were addressing central office staff and even site level staff, it was in almost like a questioning. I don't use the word inquisition, but it kind of felt like that at times. I mean, I felt tense, so I can only imagine the staff members answering their questions. They voted on things about policy procedures. So they're definitely the school governance body that's at the top. Even the CEO had to field questions from them. So it looks like the school governance for this charter that I work for, the organization Magnolia, is there's the board, then the CEO and the central office team, and then the site level principals and administrators. I think in the public districts, I know for sure LAUSD, there's the superintendent, and then there's also the school board who handles that huge district. My charter that I work for, the organization has 8 different schools, so most of the schools are represented at the board meetings. And again, the board dictated policies and procedures governing all the schools, a school wellness plan, a policy for volunteers and parent shadowing. The last takeaway I had, and so one of the huge benefits I have of working at a K through 12 school, just how vastly different the needs for K through 12 are. Supervision was really heavy at the elementary level, as it should be, because they're younger. They need more monitoring. They're prone to hurting themselves. But middle school was a huge need too. And then once you got to high school, things were pretty lax. I mean, there's still the same amount of staff members out there, but high school kids, for the most part, didn't engage in any behaviors or activities that could lead to injuries. I mean, they played some sports, but there was no arguments, no conflict. In middle school, there was quite a bit of conflict. Nothing extreme or serious, but definitely kids got heated. They lacked maturity. They lacked self-control, self-regulation. But again, all of these breaks were supervised by the administrators themselves, and that's kind of the nature of the small schools that I work for. But I remember even when I was in high school, the principal was always out, very visible. I wonder if it's like that for every school. Overall, this process was really eye-opening for me, just seeing what the administrators do day in, day out. I was able to shadow not just the principals, but the deans of academics. There was an assistant principal that I spoke to for a little bit at the school I went to off-site. It was just extremely useful valuable information to be able to hear directly from the professionals themselves. My video's way over, so I apologize.